Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We chant Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 31 to 35.
स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याधियुद्धात् श्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतम् सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम् अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम् सम्भावितस्य चाकीर्तिः मरणादतिरिच्यते भयाद्रणादु परतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्.
So far in this class, we have done up to shloka number 30, with which the first two topics of this chapter is ended. This chapter is called Sankhya Yoga, or the Yoga of Knowledge. The first 10 shlokas, the topic is Arjuna's despondent condition. Arjuna was mentally disturbed and he had put down his weapons and said, I will not fight. And when he had said that I will not fight and kept quiet, then Sri Krishna whipped up Arjuna with his powerful words and then brought him to his proper senses. Then Arjuna surrendered to Sri Krishna and became a disciple. And then Sri Krishna starts giving the Gita from shloka number 11. So from 11 to 30, the topic is indestructibility of the embodied, Atman. So he, in this portion from 11 to 30, he talked about the individual from the absolute level as well as from the relative level. From the absolute level, he said the individual is actually the Atma, the pure consciousness, which is eternal, all-pervading, independent, and non-doer. As a result of being non-doer, non-enjoyer also, not born, not dying, etc., etc. All those various pointers about Atma he gave. And when you do not understand this, and even if you think that you are the body, which constantly keeps changing, the mind and intellect, the subtle body, moves from one body to another at the time of death. So therefore, even from that angle, there is nothing to grieve. There is nothing to be affected. So from the Atma point of view, which is neither born nor dies, there is no loss. And from the individual point of view, when the vasanas change, the individual gives up the body and takes up the new one. The subtle body, along with the causal body, moves from one gross body to another in the medium of consciousness. So from whichever angle you look at, there is no loss. There is no need to sit and grieve like you are grieving Arjuna. That is exactly what he wanted to tell us through Arjuna. We must understand that as a personality, we are 3C combination, which is consciousness and content and container. Consciousness is neither born nor dies. And content keeps changing from one container to another. Depending upon the content, the container changes. So therefore, as per our thoughts and vasanas, we get the body and the environment. So we need to focus more on the thoughts, and we need to reduce the vasanas to realize the self, to realize the unity with our real self. All this he discussed. Then from 31 to 40, this topic we shall begin today. It's called your duty to act. Here, after having given the philosophy, after having given the knowledge, after understanding about yourself, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to implement that knowledge in your day-to-day living. Which means what? When it comes to living, you must start putting in this practice, this knowledge into practice, and move ahead in life. So from this verse, number 31 till 40, the thought flow is about emphasizing Arjuna to do his duty. That is all he's trying to do here. Your duty is to act. So do that. Whatever may be your role, play that to the best of your ability and get out without getting involved. Clearly understanding about yourself, you will be able to perform the actions with perfect objectivity, without getting involved. Therefore, he says your duty is to act, meaning whatever is your duty according to your nature, you do that. That is what he's talking about in this portion of the Gita from verse 31 to 40. Well, let's chant verse number 31.
स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याधियुद्धात् श्रेयोऽन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते.
So he says here to Arjuna, further looking at your own duty, you should not waver. Your mind should not be wavering, for there is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. So he's using this word here called Swadharma. Dharma means nature. Swadharma means one's own nature. There is another word called Paradharma. Dharma again means nature. Para means alien. Paradharma means alien nature. Somebody else's nature. Dharma is also translated as duty. Dharma is translated as righteousness. It has many meanings, peace, etc. So in the context when he says Swadharma means one's own nature or one's own duty. One's own duty is determined by one's own nature. One's own nature is determined by the nature of the mind. Every human being's mind is made up of three gunas called Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva meaning balanced, serene, composed mind. Rajas meaning passionate, result-oriented, desire-ridden mind. And Tamas is lazy, lethargic, indolent, heedless mind. This is Tamas. Now all of us have all the three nature. All the three nature. It varies in proportion, that's all. Some has more Sattva, some has more Rajas, some has more Tamas. So in the Gita, in different chapters, he'll explain all this. Depending upon the permutation combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, you will be inclined to do certain activities in life. You understand? It's as per gunas, not as per birth. But unfortunately, a lot of people misunderstand and they think it is by birth. But it is not by birth. It is by gunas. You understand? So, if you are highly sattvic, and then after that, the next predominant guna is rajas, then the least predominant guna is tamas. Then you are a brahmana. You are a person whose mind is more calm, serene, balanced. So you can study the scripture, reflect, understand, and propagate the scripture. Or, they split the Vedas into two. The Veda Purva Bhag, Veda Anta Bhag. So Veda Purva Bhag deals with a lot of rituals and all that. So there are people who teach rituals, do rituals, etc., conduct rituals. That's one set of brahmanas. The other set of Brahmanas, they study the Upanishads, they live by it and they teach it. So Brahmanas are thinking class. It is again, I'm repeating, not by birth. It is determined by the gunas. That's what our Shastras say very clearly. So if your permutation combination of gunas is SRT, highest predominant guna in you is sattva. Then the next predominant guna is rajas. Then the third predominant guna is tamas, let's say. Then you are a Brahman. Supposing if the permutation combination is rajas highest, then the next one is sattva, then tamas, then you are a kshatriya. Because there is more rajas, the person tend to be more active, more extroverted. So that person is more suitable for administration, leadership, all those kind of activities. So therefore, he would be more suited to be a leader or a king or an administrator, etc., executing the actions, etc. So then you are called as Kshatriya, warrior class. Then the third one is Rajas is predominant. The next predominant is Tamas, not Sattva. Then the third least predominant is Sattva. So RTS, Brahmana is SRT, and Kshatriya is RST. Now the third one is RTS, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. So there is a lot of Rajas, but at the same time there is a lot of Tamas. As a result, this person will be more inclined towards business, agriculture, cattle rearing, etc. So called as Vaishyas. Then the last category is Tamas is highly predominating. Then the next is Rajas, then the least is Sattva, which is what? TRS. Then that person generally is, because of his laziness and all that, is not able to think that much precisely, independently. So he or she is more inclined towards taking orders, following orders, etc. They are called as Shudras. In this category, they did not say who is superior, who is inferior. Nobody is superior, nobody is inferior. You understand? Everyone is equally important. Unfortunately, over a period of time, when people don't understand these things correctly, then they misinterpret it and all that happened. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, depending upon the gunas. Now, when you analyze Arjuna's gunas, he is more of a Kshatriya. His Swadharma is Kshatriya. You understand? Therefore, as a Kshatriya, what is your duty? As a Brahmana, what is your duty? As a Vaishya, what is your duty? As a Shudra, what is your duty? The same thing you can discuss it from different angles. As a father, as a mother, as a son, as a citizen, as an employee, as an employer, in different contexts, what is your duty? So, according to your nature, Arjuna, your Swadharma is of a Kshatriya. So, Sri Krishna says, further, looking at your own duty, your own nature, according to that, your duty is to function like a Kshatriya. Your country is invaded, taken over by some unrighteous force. Now, as a Kshatriya, you have a duty and responsibility to fight for the cause, fight for the nation, fight for the righteousness. You understand? So he says, further looking at your own duty, you should not waver, should not get confused like this, Arjuna. Because he was saying, better indeed it is for us to go and beg than to fight this battle and kill these noble people. Like this he was arguing in the first chapter. He's telling Sri Krishna that both of us were about to commit sin. Luckily I understood, so let's withdraw. Is what he's saying. So, here Sri Krishna very clearly tells Arjuna, look at your nature then. What are you? Kshatriya. So, you have to perform your duty now. So, why are you confused? What is there for you to get confused? So he says, looking at your own duty, you should not waver. Or there is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a righteous one. You are luckily on the side of a righteous side. No, on the side of righteous. See, Pandavas and Kauravas, they are fighting with each other. Kauravas are the one through wrong means taken away the properties, the nation, the kingdom belong to Pandavas. So Pandavas are on the righteous side. Kauravas are on the unrighteous side. See, sometimes what happens, as a soldier, you may not have much of a say. The leaders have decided to go for a war. As a soldier, you are supposed to fight. You can't say whether you should go for a war or not. You're not a minister or anybody who's to give the counsel. So you might have to just follow the order, and maybe it was an unrighteous one. Like so many people, like Bhishma, Drona, individually they are good people, but they happen to be on the side of Kauravas, defending unrighteousness. They have no particular interest in defending unrighteousness. They are doing their duty, that's all, as a soldier. So, in your case, Arjuna, not only you are supposed to do your duty as a Kshatriya here when the war is broken out, also, if you see, you are on the righteous side. What is there to then sit and grieve and worry? So, therefore, I think somebody's mic is on. Somebody's mic is on. So he says, look at yourself from the angle of duty, Arjuna. This is the time to stand up and deliver, not to chicken out, not to run away. Think correctly. He has given the knowledge in the first part from 11 to 30. So now he is saying, just look at your own nature from the content point of view. See, when we begin to live in this world, the absolute level is what? You are Atma. Atma neither does anything, therefore it doesn't have any karma also. Neither punya nor pap. All this for Atma. But when the Atma expresses through the body, mind, intellect, and we become the Jiva, the individual, then we have to look at the whole thing from the content angle as well. Now, as content, you are Kshatriya. And what is the duty of a Kshatriya? To defend your country. So therefore, he says, now the war is broken out. You are on the righteous side. Stand up and defend your country. Do your duty. Simple. So many times, what happens is we confuse the levels. Absolute, relative, we confuse. We say, anyway, I'm Atma. There's nothing to do. Atma doesn't do anything, that is correct. But when the Atma functions through the body, mind, intellect, then there is a role. And you have to do your duty as per your role. That is important. So, that's all he's trying to say here. If you are a student, play the role of a student. If you are the teacher, play the role of a teacher. You are not a Brahmana. When Arjuna said, I would rather go and beg. You are not a Brahmana. You are a Kshatriya. So he's reminding Arjuna from that angle also. In different angles, Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. So it's a very, very practical portion. He says, no confusion, Arjuna. Very clear it is. It is very, very clear. You are the Kshatriya. You are here on the battlefield as Kshatriya, not as Arjuna. So don't bring personal equations. My guru, my great grandfather, my friends, my relatives, all that you don't bring to the battlefield. See, the Indian cricketers and the other country cricketers, sportsmen, they are all playing in IPL. And it's, some of them who are playing for the nation together are playing for different teams. They may be individually good friends. After the match, they may go out for a dinner or something. But in the match, when there's match going on, each one is pitched against the other in different teams. So they have to play their role, obligation according to that situation. So don't confuse. Look at yourself from the Kshatriya. Once you have gone to the battlefield, you have to look at yourself from that angle only. The father and son, both of them, as a family, let's say running a business. The father is the chairman, son is the managing director. Till they reach the gate, they may be going in the same car from their home to the office. Till they reach the gate, father and son. Once they've gone inside the gate, once they've gone inside the factory, office, there is no more father-son relationship. It is chairman, managing director relationship. You got to understand that very clearly. Once you understand that, then there is no confusion. If you haven't understood, then you confuse everything. That's what Arjuna was doing. Oh, he is my guru. He's my great-grandfather. How can I fight against him? Isn't it pap? They are good people also. Why should we kill them? His whole argument is from that angle, which is madness. So therefore, he says, look at yourself from your own duty point of view. You should stand up and deliver. There is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. Luckily, your karma is that you have to defend righteousness, not unrighteousness. In the case of Bhishma and Drona, they are unfortunate. In a way, they are objective. Though they had to defend unrighteous, as soldiers, they're just doing it. In your case, even that confusion is not there. Next shloka.
यदृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारमपावृतं सुखिनः क्षत्रियाः पार्थ लभन्ते युद्धमीदृशम्.
Yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means without motive, on its own. Happy are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, O Arjuna, who get such a battle that comes unsought. That's what it means. Yadrichaya means unsought. As an open door to heaven. As an open door to heaven, meaning heaven, first of all, you need to understand, heaven is not a geographical place. It's a state of mind. When your mind is happy, you are in heaven. When it is disturbed, agitated, you are in heaven. John Milton says, mind in its own place can make a hell out of heaven, heaven out of hell. So it's the state of mind. So he says, Arjuna, you have no motive to fight. You are not a warmonger. See, it's wrong to be a warmonger. No? But at the same time, when the war is thrust upon you, you should have the courage to face the situation, not run away. Shakespeare says, beware of entrance to a quarrel. Being in, beareth that the enemy beware of thee. You don't enter into quarrel, unnecessary arguments, fight, etc. But once it's thrust upon you, don't run away. Beware of entrance to a quarrel. But being in, beareth that the enemy beware of thee. Let that fellow be scared of you, not you run away. You understand? So he says, happy are the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriya should be happy. When he's got an opportunity to execute his duty as per his swadharma. Not everybody gets this chance. In the sense, either because of their foolishness, they choose paradharmic activity. Or due to certain other situations, they may give in to paradharmic activities. So here he says, Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya. And what would a Kshatriya like to do? His meditation will be happening on the battlefield. Isn't it? Many times these cricketers, like for example, even in this World Cup, when India played this T20 World Cup, I think almost the same team they played every match. So they usually take about 15 players. Only 11 get to play. So there are 4 players, I think, or 3 players maybe, didn't play a single match, but they were part of the team. But they were substitutes. They didn't get to play. No, okay, they would be happy to support their teammates. End of the day, they want the team to win. They have done their best. All that is fine. But individually, if you go and ask them, they'll say, yes, we are very happy that we won. We did our best to assist our other players and all that. But we would have been happier and we got an opportunity to go and play. You know? No, you got the money without playing. You know, that is fine. They say, all that is okay. But we would like to play. That is what they enjoy. You know. So when they do what they really love, very often they lose their ego in that. And they are going through tremendous joy. Nothing can compensate for it. So therefore he says, happy are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, who get such a battle. Like in the case of Bhishma and Drona, they didn't get such a battle. They had to fight defending unrighteousness. You got such an opportunity to fight for the righteous cause. So, firstly, your nature is such that you are a warrior. And you got an opportunity now to fight. Which is what you love. Fight means, not that he goes and quarrels with everyone. That's what you love to. So, what else you want? And that also defending a righteous cause. It has come unsought. You did not go and, bring in trouble, started the war. You were not the cause. Jesus Christ says, iniquity there shall be. Woe unto you if you be the cause of it. This is Jesus Christ. He says, iniquity there shall be. Meaning there will be rich, poor, there will be, peace, war. All these situations will be there. But you do not be the cause of it. You don't try to be the cause of poverty. You don't try to be the cause of war. And that's what he's saying here. You understand, I am not causing it. So therefore he says, it is come unsought. There is no motive. In fact, the Pandavas and Sri Krishna, they tried to avert the war. They tried all best possibilities. Sam, Dhan, Bhed, Dand, they say. They tried discussions, didn't work. They tried giving in, that didn't work. They tried to split their opposition to make them weak so that they don't come to war, that didn't work. Then finally the war was thrust on them, so they had to fight. So there is no motive to go to war. A lot of people argue, In fact, one gentleman was arguing with me. He said, what is this? Arjuna didn't want to go to battle. He didn't want to kill so many people. He is a good fellow. But Sri Krishna somehow confused him and convinced him to fight the battle and kill so many people. And such a bad guy this Sri Krishna is. And you are asking us to listen to his gita, the lecture that he gave to Arjuna, which we should be not listening. This was his question. In fact, he asked me in LA, Los Angeles, this gentleman, and I was lecturing there. So, it was after the class, So I was explaining to him, first of all, go and read the facts. How much they tried, Sama they tried, discussions, didn't work. Dhanam, they said, it's okay. You take away our kingdom, no problem. Just give us 5 villages. Duryodhana said, nothing. Not even a piece of land that, a needle tip can occupy, I will share with you. So that is also not possible. Then they tried to divide the Kaurava camp by telling the truth of Karna's birth. So that Karna will say, I am not coming to war. Then Duryodhana will say, we are weak now, let's not go to war. It's a loud strategy to avert war. Vedam. That didn't work because Duryodhana was hell-bent. Nothing doing. We have to fight. We have to kill them. So it is Duryodhana who had motive. Pandavas didn't have any motive. So they tried their best. So, including Sri Krishna was the one who went to discuss with the Kauravas. He said, okay, yaar, let's have discussion. They tried to imprison Sri Krishna. If you read the story of Mahabharata. So, how can you say that Krishna is a bad fellow? When this guy went to talk to them, putting sense into them, he was not listening to them. So, it's not like they were warmongers. But when the war is thrust upon you, to do this, it's weakness of mind, it's weakness of heart. It is not strength. See, in this country, we misunderstand ahimsa also. Himsa means hurting, injuring. Ahimsa means non-injury. You understand? So, what is this principle of non-injury? Meaning, you do not have any mental ill feeling towards anybody at any point in time. No ill feeling whatsoever. But so most often, when you do not have any ill feeling, you won't cause the war. You won't cause any quarrel. But sometimes it can be thrust upon you. It is unavoidable. Then you got to face the challenge, not run away. So if Mike Tyson confronts me, he says, "Let's fight." Now I have no idea how to, fight boxing. So I'm saying I'm practicing ahimsa. Does it make any sense? I don't stand a chance against it. I'm just using it as a tool to say I'm practicing ahimsa. What kind of ahimsa is this? So, himsa means injury. Ahimsa means non-injury. No interest whatsoever to cause injury. That doesn't mean I am afraid of facing the challenge. So the invaders, they defended themselves with all the cows. They put a fence of cows and they were hiding behind it and shooting us. We won't shoot. Why? Because then we will have to kill the cows. After conquering this country, they came and slaughtered more cows. So, what is this showing? It is only showing that a great principle called ahimsa was misunderstood. As a result, it became a weakness instead of being strength. You understand? So that's exactly what he's saying. They did not seek the war. They only wanted peace, including Sri Krishna. So that's what I told the gentleman. Listen, he did not want war. He wanted peace. He had no deal made with Pandavas. That, okay, guys, I will support you. If you guys win, give me 30%. No deal, nothing. He made no deal with them. He was just there to defend righteousness. In fact, mainly the atrocity committed to Draupadi. You understand? So she sought his help. So he came. In fact, you got to look at it from that angle I told him. So it has come unsought, like Sri Krishna says, as an open door to heaven, as an open door to happiness. Happiness is what? You. It's like, in Tamil we say, Karumbu tinna kuliya. Karumbu means, what do you call that? Sugar cane. So, to eat sugar cane, if somebody pays you, how will it be? As it is, sugar cane is sweet. So you would love to eat that. Or they're giving you sugar cane juice. Not only they're giving it to you free of cost, but they're paying you 2,000 rupees per cup. To drink 1 cup of sugar cane juice, they're giving 2,000 rupees. Very simple. Every day you go and drink at least minimum 1 cup and take 2,000. Enough, no need to go to work. You'll be very happy, no? So that's what. Karumbu tinna kuliya. To do what you love. You're also being paid. How will it be? That's exactly in that sense he's saying. Happy are the Kshatriyas, O Partha, O Arjuna, who get such a battle that comes unsought as an open door to heaven. So you should therefore do your duty, which is to fight, not run away. Next sloka.
अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि.
He now says to Arjuna, now, if you will not wage this righteous war, after having given all these explanations, Sri Krishna is telling, supposing you are not convinced and you do not wage this war, if you will not wage this righteous war, then having abandoned your duty and fame, you will incur sin. See, very interesting. In the first chapter, Arjuna was arguing that fighting this battle, which is to kill the Kauravas, especially Bhishma, Drona and all, he will be incurring sin, they will be incurring sin. This was Arjuna's line of argument. Sri Krishna's line of argument is completely different. Arjuna's argument was what? Doing this duty, we will be incurring sin. Sri Krishna's argument is not doing your duty, you will be incurring sin. See, please understand how the karma works. We will have to pay the price for both our omissions and commissions. Commission is what? Doing what you ought not to do. Omission is not doing what you ought to do. You got to pay for not doing what you ought to do. You also have to pay for doing what you ought not to do. Okay. What are you supposed to do as a Kshatriya? When the country has declared war, you are a soldier to go and fight. So that's your duty. So he says, if you will not wage this righteous war to defend the righteous purpose, you will not fight. What have you done? You have abandoned your duty. Abandoning your duty, you will also lose your fame. See, a lot of soldiers, they fight for their countries and they may die. The country could have won the battle, but individually the soldier has died. He sacrificed his life for the nation. And that person gets Paramvir Chakra, etc., etc. They get the fame. So the fame is a byproduct of doing your duty to the best of your abilities. Isn't it? So he says, you will lose fame also. And you have abandoned the duty. As a result, you will be incurring sin because you did not do what you ought to do. You got to pay for it. You understand that? See, each one of us have different nature. And we have to supplement and complement each other. Internally in the mind, we can develop the value of independence. But when it comes to practical living, we are interdependent. You understand? See, for this class to happen, we are doing it online. So we are doing it through the Zoom platform. So we are dependent on the Zoom company and then Sudarshan, who is, the host, who does all the other things for us. So there are so many people have to come together for this class to happen. We are interdependent with each other. So when we are interdependent, one fellow is doing his duty, the other fellow doesn't do. How is it correct? You understand? He is supposed to do his duty, I am supposed to do my duty, you are supposed to do your duty. All of us have to supplement and complement each other. Elsewhere in the Gita, he says, Parasparam Bhavayantaha. You have to function in that cooperative spirit. We got to understand that each of us have a certain role to play. So that's what he's saying. Now, having abandoned your duty and fame, you will incur sin. Sin is nothing but a mental reaction, when you act on your likes and dislikes, avoiding your obligatory duties, not functioning according to the intellect's conviction. You are going with your likes and dislikes. Then your mind reacts and it goes through agitation. That agitation, when the mind goes through, that is called sin. So, Arjuna, you will be sitting and really be completely agitated thereafter, man. If you don't do your duty now, because of your wrong thinking, because of lack of clarity, you will avoid doing this action. So, Arjuna said, doing the action, which is to fight the battle, you would have incurred sin. Sri Krishna is saying, if you avoid doing this action, don't do this action, then you will be committing sin. So what he is trying to say, if you see the line of thought that we have gone through so far, when he explained what is Atma and all that, when you put all those things together, what Sri Krishna is saying is, it is not the action that causes sin. It's the motive. You understand? So, what you are supposed to give up is your motive, selfishness, ego. Don't look at everything from the personal angle. Give up the personal motive. Why do we give up actions? What was Arjuna's logic? It is painful for him to kill Bhishma and Drona. They are good people. Not only they are good people, because of whom he is what he is today. So he had a personal motive. Therefore, he didn't want to fight. The moment personal ego comes in, selfishness comes in, it will create agitation in your mind. That is sin. But we all think action per se is either virtue or sin. No action per se is virtuous or sinful. See, a doctor, a surgeon also plunges the knife in somebody's stomach, patient's stomach. That is the action he is doing. A terrorist also is plunging the knife into somebody. But what is the motive? The doctor, does he have the motive of killing? He has the motive of saving the life. Whereas the motive of a terrorist is different. He wants to kill. You understand? So, action per se, you cannot say both are committing sin. Because the action is what? Plunging the knife into the stomach. So, therefore, both are committing sin. No, you can't say that. What is the motive? Now, why are you trying to avoid the battle? What is the motive? The motive is my personal convenience. Vis-a-vis, what is the right thing for the total? See, whenever we talk about dharma, and when there's a conflict between two dharmas, we always say the lower has to be sacrificed for the higher. So my personal inconvenience has to be sacrificed for the total. When you are in the family, when you are working for a country, organization, whatever it is, you got to, the small circle will have to align with the big circle. Please understand this. The small circle will have to align with the big circle. So therefore he says, if you abandon duty means you are giving into personal motives. If you give into personal motives, then your mind will be going through reactions, you'll be creating agitations, you will be committing sin. So, it is not action per se of abandoning or not abandoning. It is not doing or not doing. What? What is the motive behind doing or not doing? That is the problem. You may give a lot of justifications, but truly when you go inside and look at your mind, you will know. Many a times we kind of do things because of personal convenience. So that's why he says, if you do this omission, which is not doing what you ought to do, you will be committing sin. So it is not the doing that creates sin. It's the doership that incurs sin. Please understand the difference. See, when Lord Buddha, he was born in a Kshatriya family. But he realized his nature was completely different. He moved away. You understand? He gave up the entire kingdom, everything. He did not live in luxury and then gave up administering kingdom. Then it's wrong. He gave up everything. He didn't live in palace. He gave up all the luxuries attached to the prince. He was living very ordinary life because he understood his nature is different. He also did not administer, though he was born as a Kshatriya, but he understood his gunas are different. So he moved away quietly. He did not abandon his duty. You understand? He did not give up administering the kingdom out of doership. Please understand, out of doership, you can do or you can avoid doing. Whether you do or avoid doing, but if it is underlined by doership, then you will go through reactions and you will be agitated. Now, if in the context you are supposed to do, and if in the context you are not supposed to do, but there is no doership underlining, whether you do or don't do, there is no sin. So the sin is due to your doership. It's got nothing to do with doing or not doing. That is what he is explaining. When Arjuna was confused and he was arguing, his whole argument was, this is bad action. Killing Kauravas is not good, especially Bhishma, Drona, they are all good people. So we should not fight. But with the doership, I will not fight. He was abandoning duty with the doership. Not because his mind is evolved to the state where, like in the case of Lord Buddha, Siddhartha had become Buddha. He just moved away. Now he is not abandoning his duty. A sannyasi has a different kind of a duty. So therefore there is no confusion. So that's what he's explaining here. You abandon your duty out of egoism, out of personal inconvenience. You will have to pay for it. You will be agitated. So we need to understand clearly what is causing sin. First of all, sin is not in action, it is in reaction. Sin is not to be understood as, it's an outcome of action. It's an outcome of doership. We say when you do good activities propelled by doership, you will incur punya. If you do selfish activities propelled by doership, you will incur pap, sin. Punya means, virtuous results. Both will keep you away from the self. Both will keep you away from the self. A lot of punya, the Shastras explain that punya will maximum take you to heaven, meaning a different state of mind. And then you experience all that, then you will come back to square one. What is the use? You have to start from this only. So therefore he says, don't gather punya, don't gather pap. So basically through the knowledge, you have to give up the doership, not doing. Ask yourself, where are you? In our system, life is split into again 4 stages. Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. Arjuna is Grihastha. Arjuna is a Kshatriya. You come to Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha moved away from Grihastha. Though he was married, he had a child, he understood his nature is completely different. He moved, it was his choice. And then he is not in the category of a Grihastha anymore. So his duty was completely different. He did not abandon his duty out of inconvenience or anything. Because it is causing him inconvenience, he didn't abandon. So, like that, we got to understand which level, where are you, as per your gunas, as per your stage, where you are. Accordingly, whatever is your duty, you are supposed to. If, for example, we have decided every Sunday we'll have this class, right? If supposing some important work comes unavoidable, it's part of our duty, we might have to say, okay, today we will not be able to have class. Just because it's a little inconvenient to me. Now I say, I don't want to have class today. I announce, no class. That is wrong. That's what he's saying. No personal motive in between. If you will not wage this righteous war, then having abandoned your duty, and as a result, what will happen? You lose your fame. People will say, what kind of a fellow is this fellow, man? He gives a lot of lectures, but he himself is not able to function independent of his likes and dislikes. And if it is convenient, he will do like this. Not convenient, he will do this way. You lose your fame. Isn't it? See, first of all, Shakespeare says, reputation is an idol. Most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving it. Reputation, fame, is an idol, most false imposition. People keep on saying, oh, he's a good guy, he's a great guy, he's fantastic. They keep on repeating like imposition. The teachers say, write 25 times, write 50 times, imposition. Like that. Keep on repeating, everybody. He's a good guy, he's a good guy. Based on their perception. They have no idea. They have not done any analysis, nothing. In majority of the cases, it's like that. So they just keep on repeating, good guy, great guy, great guy, great guy. And then he's got a reputation. He says, oft got without merits, meaning without analysis, without really, deserving. Lost without deserving it. When you have not done anything wrong, people will start, what kind of a fellow is he? So reputation is an idol, most false imposition, oft got without merit, lost without deserving it. You have done nothing wrong, you go. It's a very flimsy thing, this fame. And a Rajasic fellow will have value for it. Arjuna is a Rajasic guy, he's a Kshatriya. His predominant guna is what? Rajas. So he has interest in fame. He is not, highly sattvic to understand that fame will come and go. So he is not bothered about fame. He is not like that. He has tremendous value for fame. So Sri Krishna is using it psychologically also to explain to Arjuna. You have tremendous value for fame. You got it because you lived as a Kshatriya. Now you are not living as a Kshatriya. You are confusing yourself. You are in Grahastha Ashrama but trying to function like a sannyasi. That's madness. So therefore he says, having abandoned your duty, you lose your fame also, you will incur sin. You will go through mental agitations. Let's conclude now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.